We're gonna start.
Okay. All
We're
right.
recording. We're recording now. Okay. All right. We are official.
All right.
All right.
Just do my name. You know how to say my name, right?
I got you. I got you. All right. What's up, everybody? This is the Misguided Podcast, where we intend to guide you to a better future. My name is Juwan. I'm sitting here with Vanessa Kahlon. How you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm living. I just want to thank you for we're currently live on TikTok right now, and after the night she just blew up on TikTok, so I just want to thank you.
It's always a pleasure. Anything for you.
Of course. So let's go ahead and let the audience know who you are. So can you please introduce yourself?
So my name is Vanessa Kahlon, as you just said, and I started a school in San Francisco, which is KFS School. I also have a consulting firm, which is Kahlon Family Services. And then I developed a yoga program for kids with autism. So my thing is teaching self-regulation and body awareness through yoga. And it's really for children. Originally, it was for children that are completely nonverbal. And that I feel like, how do we get them connected with their body and everything else? So that's a huge passion of mine. I also have a podcast, which is Parenting with Vanessa Kahlon. And then I'm all about the mind-body connection. So that's kind of where I am with children. So it's like, how do we get the child more grounded and more in their body and actually focusing and doing things and advocating for themselves on what they need, because everybody processes and learns differently. So that's kind of my mission, and looking at how everybody's doing things and learning, and how can we teach children to actually advocate for themselves and understand how they learn, because we're all different.
True. So much to tackle, so many things. I love it. You were one of the first people who interviewed me on your podcast, Parenting with Vanessa. I had a baby on the way, right? I think, or like something.
No, you just had a baby.
Just had a baby. Okay, I didn't know if I just.
Yeah, and I think you were on Instagram, and I said something, and then we just started talking, and then the next thing you know, you're at my school, and it was great. So
yeah. Came to the school. I dropped some t-shirts off and talked to the kids a little bit, and then we did the podcast after, and that was super cool. That was years ago. That was a while ago.
This is where I got the shirt.
Yeah.
There you go.
Nice. What is KFS?
Reminder, it actually, you did teach the kids a little bit.
I did. I was part of it. What does KFS stand for? Let the people know.
It's Kahlon Family Services School. So it's really my other company, but broken down into the initials. And it was really important that we have the family in there, because I want to make sure that we're building a community, and it's not just about education.
Absolutely. Yeah, that makes sense. So how'd you even get started into yoga in the first place? Like, where does this, you have like a long background in it, or what?
No, that's really funny. No, not at all. What happened was, I was doing my clinical psychology program, whatever, and my MFT, and looking at, we would get a child and in 50 minutes, you have to come up with a behavior plan, or not even a behavior plan, but like a clinical plan of goals and what you're supposed to do. And I just was finding that the goals didn't make any sense to me. Like, kids know what they're going to do when they walk into an office. Like, if you say, how are you going to calm down? They're going to tell you, I take 3 deep breaths, and this is what I do. And I was like, this is not really, they just know they know what to say to get you to think that they know what they're doing, even though it's just automatic for them. And then when I started looking at, autism is something I've known for, that's all I know, really.
Yeah.
And as long as I'm working with kids, autism is like my thing since I was 18. And I was looking at seeing things with kids with yoga, and I was looking at these videos, and I'm like, wait a minute, these kids are verbal. What about the kids that are nonverbal? Like, how can we connect with them? And how, I think a lot of people, when they see a child that is on the lower end of the spectrum, that they get nervous, not try to connect. So my thing is like, how do you teach everyone to connect and learn? And so that's kind of been my passion, is teaching that body awareness. So that's where it came up. And I just felt like the actual clinical skills that I was seeing wasn't really working for my kids.
Yeah.
Because my kids are like super impulsive in 2 seconds, and then they don't know, but it's like really teaching them how to ground themselves through movement. So, I mean, I use one song, Over the Rainbow, and that's like, I'm trying to keep that muscle memory and the body awareness to go. But I think that's really important to understand that everyone learns a little bit differently. And then when you go from there, that makes the most sense. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. And definitely like the traditional school systems, it's like you're locked in a classroom and you're forced to learn like a specific way. And if you don't catch up, then you're considered special, or you fall behind and stuff like that. So it's like it's super hard, and that's super good that you're doing this. What have been some like difficulties in finding is it difficult to find new ways to like not interact, but keep the kids engaged? Is it difficult?
No, because I think, so here's the deal. I always tell teachers, like, if you're bored, the child's bored. Like, it just plain and simple. Like, if you're finding yourself like bored in the classroom, like, you need to redo it. But I think what it comes down to is following the child's lead and really going into their world and connecting them that way. So if you walk in with an agenda, like, that's what I said in the interview, I'm like, don't tell me what this is about. Like, it's fine, we'll just go. Because I think it's important to be able to just go with it versus, okay, well, these are my key points and this is what I'm going to do. But then you miss whatever's going on. So you're missing that, like, because you're thinking in your head, like, okay, these are the things I want to say, these are the things I want to do and get across, versus like actually just connecting and going from there.
Yeah.
So when you came in, the interview that I did with you, like, I thought that was actually really emotional and had a lot of great things on that, especially when we were talking about your dad. But I feel like if I would have come up with all these questions, I might have missed that. But just kind of going,
you're just going off of feeling, off of emotion.
Yeah, you have to go, like, even when I was on the radio show, like my producer would be like, what are you gonna talk about, Mom? I don't know. Well, what about this, Mom? I don't know. I'll see what happens. The first 5 minutes, you can tell I'm nervous because I'm like, what am I gonna talk about?
I know what you mean.
But I think it's really being able to follow their lead and being present, and that's what it comes down to. Yeah,
let's you briefly touched over it, but radio. You were in radio, so let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I did a radio show in LA on KBC, and we ended up like ranking number 12 spot in that time slot, which was actually pretty awesome. And we had like it was just people would call in with questions towards the end, and that's kind of where it was. But it was really neat though, because Dr. Phil would be like next door taping, and then I'm just wow, back to this and focus. But it was just parents calling in with different questions, and that's kind of why I'm doing these TikToks, because these questions I feel like I can easily help through these videos too, to help different families.
So this was in LA?
Yeah.
And how did the radio station grow? Was it because you were answering like great questions and just providing great feedback? Like, that's super cool.
Right. I think one of my approaches is that parents will call me like really upset about their kid acting out, and not that I'm joking about it, but I have a way of being like, oh wow, like, he hit 3 times versus 10. Like, I'm always trying to spin the positive. And I think that when you try to do the positive on everything else, like yesterday I had a meeting and they was upset about something with a parent. They were upset about whatever. And then they're like, well, yesterday I didn't hit. I'm all, you're now telling me he didn't hit? Like, it's been 30 minutes and I didn't know he didn't hit yesterday. I'm like, I got to go down and talk to him and congratulate him. You know what I mean? So they're like, but he's been a monster like all morning. And I'm like, yesterday was a good day. And then at the end, when I left, I'm like, are you going to try not to hit today? And he goes, well, I already hit this morning. And I go, it's 3:00. That's fine. Move on. Now that's what the rest of the day. So I think it's the approach and the outlook of like, A, you're not alone. B, like, you have to laugh or you're going to cry. It's a lot. And so it's just trying to be present in that moment.
That makes sense.
But that's how it kind of grew.
I'm getting a little echo. Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now there's a little alien voice in there, but so we got the radio show, we got KFS School, which we'll definitely dive into more. We have the yoga, but you also wrote a book. And I want to talk about that because, being self-published is a huge thing, and kind of just like the grind of writing a book. can be super tiring. So first of all, what made you write a book? And go ahead and what's the name of the book for everyone?
It's called Shut Up and Parent.
I love it. Straight to the point.
Shut up, parent. I mean, it comes down, I think again, when we talk about the clinical stuff, like I think we're processing too much with kids versus just action and being there and showing them what you want, right? And like modeling the behavior that you're looking for. So that's why the reason that the book is Shut Up and Parent, because I think we're just talking too much. The book came out just because I felt like, this is my approach. And like, I sometimes have a hard time articulating what I do. And I just feel like that book represents like, okay, these are my approaches. This is what I'm doing. And so with that, I was able to just put it all together. Because sometimes people are like, well, give me the 3-minute, or 30-second elevator pitch. And I'm going, I don't even know where to start because I do so many different things. Mm-hmm. So when you do so many different things, it's like, where do you go? So the book really represents my approaches, how, about talking about like, what does it mean to not say sorry, but how we teach empathy, how are we repairing relationships? How are you building your relationship with your child? Like, what is that foundation? If you don't have that foundation, then it just kind of, there's all these cracks, right? And these behaviors keep coming in. So that's kind of where it went. It was just more of a way to like, I think it was for me to make it, I come off, how do I say this? Like I'm always laughing and I'm always trying to have fun. And I don't think I'm taken as serious sometimes. Because I'm always trying to make jokes of things.
Hence the title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And so hence all that. But so I think that to me was just a way of like feeling good that like, okay, this is my approach. I have something on there, because I would rather be playing with children and I'd rather just not work with it, like be with it. No offense. I like adults, but like,
yeah.
Children are just so honest and pure. Like it's great. And
yeah, they really are.
For me to like,
especially like 5 years old and up. Oh man. Cause I remember we were talking to you, but with our niece, she's now 11 and they were just straight up, forward with you.
Right. And I like that. I love that. Adults don't like that approach. So I like, either love me or hate me, but I'm very straight to the point. So you always know where I stand. But I think adults are always a little bit more passive aggressive. And like, once I say something, I let it go and I'm done. And I don't think that that's a lot of people don't do that. No. So for me, kids are a lot easier. It's a minute. And to like actually understand their behavior and what that means. Adults, I think for me are harder to like, so I try not to like read anything with adults because it doesn't work.
Yeah, that makes sense. What was the hardest part of writing the book for you?
I think getting it actually published, because there's so many steps and I have a hard time following a lot of steps. So I actually had a friend, he stepped in and like helped me a lot. But I couldn't figure out the steps. But I think for me, it was hard because I'm so matter of fact. And even in the book, it's small, right? I mean, because there's not a lot of there's not a lot of words. Like I'm not going to go into like something from 1950. I'm not going to go into other things. It's very matter of fact. Here's this issue. These are the strategies here. So here's A, B, C, and D, which I think is very clear versus like you'll get another book and they'll talk about, all these other things, which to me are blah, blah, blah in my head. So I wanted to be very specific, and parents don't have time. Like they barely go to the bathroom. So why would you give them a huge book?
Yeah.
So you're a parent, you know what I mean?
Oh man, it's been crazy. So speaking of parenting, Zakai is 2 years old, or he'll turn 2 years old next month. And he is in the stage of just terror. Like, so he loves, if he doesn't get his way, he's throwing a tantrum. Like, if he doesn't get what he wants, if you take something away from him, just crying for another 30 minutes. But yeah, he is like super into everything. He wants to touch everything. He wants to be in everything, and he loves outside. So that's one thing that like calms him, and like he loves being outside.
Right.
Yeah, Zakai is crazy right now.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. The movement piece, right? Like to being outside and to feel your feet on the ground and all that kind of stuff. That's why I think it's really important for kids. And that's also why I have the bikes at the school, because they're constantly moving. Yeah, super dope. We're going to talk about all that. Well, what's been crazy is like having a kid throughout this time of like where no one socializes. Like I'm super worried
my kid's gonna be like, you know, super introvert because he hasn't been able to socialize as much as we'd like, you know what I mean? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of, yeah, like we want him to be around other babies, other 2-year-olds and stuff like that. But it's just been
You're not
hectic.
at all around anyone, or?
Not during the pandemic. Right now we're working. I mean, I'll take him to the park in here and there, but he honestly doesn't even like try and go play with the kids. Like he likes to go play with like the rocks around the park. Like he's super into nature. Like I'll put him, drop him. He'll go down the slide a few times and then he'll walk over to the bushes and play in the bushes by himself. So, but no, right now we're looking at like daycares or preschools. Yeah. I got a new job. Well, I'm a real estate agent now, so I
saw
start.
that. Congratulations.
Thank you. I start in a couple of weeks, so we're looking at like daycares and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah.
That's awesome.
But they're all full because they all have like you know, the max number for COVID and stuff. So it kind of sucks.
Well, if you ever want to come in and teach at my school, you can bring your child.
Yeah, right.
You can come
About 2-year-old.
I'm cool with it.
You'll have one 2-year-old.
I have no problem with 2-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I have no problem with a 2-year-old.
No, he'll probably love you too. He's super energetic. He has like my personality. So, but yeah. Anyways,
No, I love 2-year-old.
Back to
back on track.
Yeah, because the school is super interesting. I kind of want to break down what the school, you know, has in it. So you brought up and you're going viral on TikTok for sharing everything that your kids are doing in creative ways to keep them engaged. And one of them is the bike. So the bike desk. Can you kind of go into detail on that?
Right. So a lot of times kids, so I've been this is where I don't know if people understand, like I'm putting when the body stays alert, and I've been putting that in these videos and I was thinking about them all. Do people know what that means exactly? So a lot of times you're going to find kids that are like, I was this kid, like laying there, just always on the, like their head down and just not focused at all. I mean, the bike just activates the body where you're moving and getting rid of any of that extra energy that's in there anyways, but also helps you focus. We also have a stepper desk, and we also have a desk that goes side to side, which I'll be posting those videos soon, along with all the haters that are talking about the masks and stuff, but it is what it is. And all the other stuff I'm getting, which is fine. Everyone is allowed their own opinion. But for me, it's like when you go to the gym, right? And how you feel afterwards. Right? You're more centered. You could take in more information. It's the same thing and similar to that sense where the body is moving and they're going versus like falling asleep and not paying attention.
Yeah.
Because if a child
it activates the brain, but it's also super healthy. Like the kids aren't just sitting at a desk all day. Like they say, like right now, you see me, I'm standing. I have a standing desk. Like, you know, sitting for hours and trying to do all this stuff is just like, it's hurting on your body. You know what I mean? But as for a kid, like, kids need to get energy out. And so that's a great way. And I'm sure they go home and they're, you know, you're helping the parents out because you're making them tired at school and activating their brain, but also activating their body muscles. And so they're, you know, going home, not needing to let out and release all this energy. So, yeah.
Right. And the other thing I want to point out that like we have multiple ways a child, so it's called flexible seating, right? So it's like, there's multiple ways a child can actually sit and learn. And so that's just one way. So we have like chairs that don't have a back, but that wobble, the wobble chairs, I call them. We also have lap desks. Like kids can sit on the floor, they can sit anywhere. So I am not like somebody that's like, oh, a child has to be at a desk. I mean, we did testing. I had one kid on the floor. I had another kid laying down on their stomach. I have 2 kids, one at a stepper and the other one at the bike desk. I mean, so it depends on whatever their body needs. So again, it's teaching them, how are you going to learn? Yeah. Like I'm not stuck on anything. We don't have like these assigned seats or anything like that. And most of the time, like if you walk into my school, you're going to have kids all over the place. I mean, people don't realize like, yeah, those are all the kids at once on there reading a book, but like I told them we'll get a book and get on there, I'll make a small video. But normally you're going to see kids like on the floor, just whatever they want to do. I don't think that a child should, I mean, however that what's good for them, that's what I think is important to do.
Yeah. What, let's talk about like, how excited are the kids with you in TikTok when you're like, all right, we're going to make a video, guys. Like how excited do they get?
So it's funny. They all want to do it. They all want to like, it's super cute because they're like, I want to be in the next TikTok one. I want to be this. And they're looking at the numbers. Like I got a new client yesterday and he opened up this Gatorade with this rubber band. I'm like, oh my gosh, last week. And I'm like, I didn't know about that. No one ever told me about this rubber band and Gatorade, and you just put it on the outside and like twist it. And that's how you pop it. And someone was like, yeah, if you have Alzheimer's or dementia, like that's a great way to do it. And I'm going, really? And I did a video with him and like, I'm texting him the numbers and he loves it. And then someone put like, oh, he's a clever boy. And I sent it to him because like, I know that's going to make him feel good.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, he's teaching other people. My thing is like, how do you build a child's self-esteem? And that's by them teaching other people and being part of it. That's why I also have different class sizes with different ages, and they're all combined in a way during certain times, because the older will teach the younger and vice versa. And we go out in the community and we're all looking out for each other.
Yeah.
So it's not just like me.
That's interesting because I've actually, so a lot of people are doing courses now and selling courses, right, on how to do stuff. And one of the courses I've taken recently, I actually interviewed him, but he had his students that he taught teach. So in his course, he's only in there maybe 1 or 2 videos, and the rest of it is his students teaching. And I thought that was super intriguing because it's like, I've never seen that. And it's more relatable. Instead of sitting through 5 hours of one guy teaching, you have the people that learn from you, and it also connects the people a lot quicker. Like there's something about, like you said, kid to kid teaching. There's something about that. Like another kid is gonna listen to another kid more than like an adult. That's just like, it's just like, it's super cool.
Right. That's, if you look at social skills, like how else are they going to learn? Right. I mean, adult teaching it is a kid teaching it. So, I mean, I have kids. I mean, I did a video because all the kids one kid wanted art. One kid wanted to be the PE teacher. And I'm like, fine, that you had a schedule. And I always say, this is not my school. It's the kids' school, because even down to the curriculum, they didn't like what we had before. And I mean, I'm like, okay, fine. You don't like it. You email the people. Let them give your feedback. These people work really hard. So I think it's really important that we're teaching like how to communicate. And then what else would make sense? Right. Yeah. So like, I'm constantly picking the kids' brains, and they're always teaching. I'm like, I feel like I'm just there to sign the check. Like really.
Yeah.
I'm just signing off on what they need and what I think is important. But to me, as long as they have empowerment, right? So when I went looking for my school, I brought a kid with me. And I said, this is your school. And so I met this realtor, and the guy didn't even acknowledge my child at all. Didn't ask him anything. And I'm like, what do you think? Hey? And he didn't say and he had these great ideas, but like, didn't look at him. I'm like, we're not working together because like, this is his school. Like, he's like, well, we can't be here because so-and-so is going to run out and there's a street right there. Like, he's like, well, and this doesn't make sense here. Like the kids develop their own school. It's not, I'm listening to what they need. And then I give them, I work and I fundraise, and I probably work another job sometimes, and I don't sleep a lot, but they get their needs on what they want.
What's crazy is you're literally saying like you're speaking all facts, because when I did go to your school, that is exactly what I experienced. Like you even had like people, like, because we talked about music when I was there, but you even had a couple kids, bring up their music and kind of explain the process of how they went about writing the song. They even sang it in front of me. And a kid never even sang before. And he finally, remember? So like, everything you're saying is just like correct. Like they were really working in tandem, and it was super cool to see that. And what I loved about it, and I could relate to, is the small class size, right? Because it makes you feel intimate, like a small family. When I went to college, that was one of the reasons I chose to go to Colorado College, was because the class size wasn't 200 people, right? It wasn't 200 people, you're being lectured, here's a big screen, here's a professor, you listen, you leave. It was, here's 20 people maximum, 15 people, and you guys are all in a circle, and the teacher, it's super intimate, and it just made the learning environment super acceptable and easy. So I really love that about your school. And also the layout is super dope. Like it's in SF, you got like a nice building. It's perfect for the kids. It's perfect.
There's a lot of rooms. I mean, when we were doing with the whole thing with the COVID and the pandemic, I'm like, every kid can have like 2 kids per room, and like the rooms are huge.
Yeah, the rooms are huge. It's like, it would be a great apartment. Like, I'm about to move there.
Well, I mean, I have a bed in my office. Like, you can literally like do like, I have all the food there. So the other thing is too, like, kids can come in and out. They get their own food, what they need, the refrigerator, the kitchen. It's just a constant flow going on, which is great.
Yeah.
But the small class size, I think, is really important because my kids, if you're looking at academically, they're like way above their age, but the social emotional piece is lower. So like they need that time. And when they get anxious, or what happens if I give them a sheet that has too many questions on there and they break down, like, we need to be able to support them. And we need to be able to teach them how to be able to get out of that state. And so we do know those rooms of that they can have a sensory room where they can go kind of chill out and then come back. Or they just want to follow me around and say Vanessa nonstop.
Yeah. Nah, it's super cool.
So, yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I think that mind, body, and the social emotional piece is a huge piece, because academically, like, if you're not in a good place, what's the point?
Yeah.
In my opinion, like, it doesn't make sense. Well, because you're not going to learn anyway. It's constantly like, and then if you miss something, and then you're just tapping onto that whole thing, you talk about, like, these gaps in children. If there's a gap in second grade and the gap in first grade, the gap keeps going, and then you don't even know where to start and where to test the child. So it's really important that, like, the self-esteem, and you're always constantly building. And like I have kids that just signed into from my school just to say hi. I mean, those are like,
I know. Let's talk about, actually, take a little break and let your TikTok audience know, because they keep dropping in and out, what you're doing, and shout out the podcast.
Oh, Misguided Podcast, right?
Yep.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Okay, I got it right.
Yeah. No, yeah, I see people dropping in and out.
Yeah, I mean, they just come in and out. That's kind of like, but yeah.
That's super cool. That's super cool. It's definitely been great to see, like, your progression. Like, I mean, because I visited your school a couple years ago, and just talking, like, things were, kind of hard at the time. And it is super hard to run a school, like, you know what I mean? And now to see that you're popping on TikTok, you're getting more engagement, you're getting more followers on Instagram, and it's just kind of like you're growing, right? How has this, like, affected your business? Has it affected your business yet? Like, have you seen our parents reaching out to you because they seen your TikTok video and are like, hey, we want to put our kid in your school now? You know what I mean?
That's funny. I'm on 3 now as of this
Hey, I need a bomb. I need like a bomb drop
3.
or something.
And they're like, they call me, they're like, I can't believe I'm even telling you this. And as we're on the phone, I just saw a submission for an application right now that just went through.
Hey,
so I think that,
Misguided, that's a misguided person.
And who knew that we were, like, doing these TikTok just a random coincidence of just doing something and not even realizing what I was applying for. And then I'm like, oh crap, I have to do this. And I'm just so thankful for my friend Crystal, who, like, I've been well supported, I feel like, when it's come to certain things. So Crystal was the one that interviewed me for CBS, which that came out last week, which I missed. She's helped me a lot in just, like, sending me videos and kind of how to do it. Cause I'm like, I have no idea what to do. And then at first I'm like, I'm not going to do this. And she's like, just do it. You got it.
This is amazing.
But now we're getting, like, but I'm also, along with that, you get the haters, right? So
yeah, but
I'm learning
you'll get that no matter what. You'll get that no matter what. And
I'm learning that too. Even friends, you're like, oh, I thought you were my friend.
Hey, just
then other things
all you got.
come up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's crazy. But you just show them, hey, like, right. I got parents hitting me up wanting to, come to the school. So I'm doing something right. You know what I mean? Like, and you're doing a lot of things
right.
Yeah.
So I mean, I had one this morning, I talked to someone last week, and then just right now. So that would be 3 people on there. I just, so when the whole pandemic hit, my LLC, my consulting was all in school. So I lost everything. Mm-hmm. So that was actually really, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to lose my company, because there was, like, 0 income coming in. And so I ended up working with, like, families privately, and just to kind of keep things afloat a little bit. And then now I have like so many clients going on, like it's increasing, which is great.
Let's talk about that. You were working with families privately during COVID. Like, what do you mean? What you were like, or like, what do you mean? What does that mean?
So my school, the teachers, like, so what happened was I have the LLC. I never really made money, like a salary on my school. It was always like, I really wanted a safe place for my kids. Like my money came from like my other stuff that I did.
Yeah.
So to me, like having a safe place was more important. The kids that have behavioral issues, that they're not going to get kicked out. This is a place that they can learn how to regulate. And then what happened was the LLC went, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's like, like, I don't even like know. And so I called one of my clients who we were shadowing, because I provide social coaches in schools. And so I would supervise them. Right. And so then I wasn't at the school as much as I am now. Now I'm like full blown at the school every single day. I'm teaching, which has been great. But I just didn't have that. So I called a client, because then when we went into, Zoom and doing all that teaching, I didn't have a class.
Mm-hmm.
I'm directing everything. All the teachers are doing their stuff. And I don't want to like step on my teachers' toes. Like I sort of think it's really important to give space and let them do their thing, especially as they're figuring this all out. I was there to consult. I was there to help. I didn't want to overstep on anyway.
Yeah.
Because it was a hard time for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I also wanted to respect that. So then what happened was, one of my clients, I just started working with them. And so we just kind of became a pod together. And so I was going there every single day with another family. That's crazy. I pretty much was like living with another family.
So pre-COVID, let's talk about pre-COVID, and then we'll go back to where you are now. But pre-COVID, we had met, and like, how was business pre-COVID versus COVID? Like, obviously you were scared as shit during COVID, but how was business for you pre-COVID? Like, what was your class size? How were you getting clients? What kind of promoting were you doing? You weren't TikTok famous yet, so.
Well, I'm not TikTok famous now.
Yeah, you are.
No, it's all. Thanks. So, but I appreciate that. It was really hard the year before that, actually. So the COVID time has been, that was a couple months that was scary. And then everything just kind of like went off, because all my clients came back. So right now I have all my kids. So I feel like I'm in a family, because all of my kids I've had for years. So everyone's known me. We're like in a small community already. Now, pre-COVID, I had some experiences with people that were part of my staff, that just things that intake forms weren't coming to me, but I didn't realize they're going to a different email, that the person wasn't there anymore. I mean, there were just a lot of things that I gave control over to other people, and that really hurt me when they weren't there.
Yeah.
Because I did
any business. Any business.
So now I've had to like, so last year was like taking the reins of like, okay, what is everything we're doing? And this year is like the whole act piece and going for the accreditation. Yeah. But I was like, oh, this is because I'm doing my other company. I'm consulting at different schools and doing other stuff. And I have someone here doing other things. And then all of a sudden, like, I'm not sure why am I not getting these intake calls? And so I've had to like, even developing the website, I've had to teach myself that just to make sure everything's coming in. But it was hard, because one year we didn't have any more kids, but there was questions and people were interested. I just never got the email. So it just went into a different, it went away. So that was difficult. And also like the funds that, I didn't, when we started the school, the school started in 48 hours, 3 kids got kicked out. They didn't know where to go. I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. Just come over and we'll figure it out. Like, I'm more of this person. I'm always problem solving. I'm not one to sit here and like feel sorry for myself. I'm always like, okay, what's the next step? What are we going to do? How are we going to move forward? And, so funding came from tuition. So like, that's what I'm saying. I didn't make a lot, because the funding went from like buying the desks to, the computers, to the curriculum, to the the amount of money in insurance. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just everything costs money. Payroll.
Yeah.
Everyone's an employee. I offer all benefits. I take care of everybody. So things do add up. So that's been the hardest thing. But I feel like with this right now where we're at, like we're pretty full. But we have people renting space, they're zooming in, they're doing other things. So I'm feeling really grateful right now, but where I was a year and a half ago was very scary. Like I didn't know if I would make it. Like I sold my
Yeah.
car,
I
got rid of
remember
my car.
we were talking and you were scared. That's why I wanted to bring it up and see what, what
Yeah,
pushed
I
you
didn't,
through that. So like,
so one of the board members just gave me one of his cars, like, cause he has 5 cars. I mean, I just, I'm being honest, like I'm
yeah,
going to always be honest, but I mean, in the fundraiser and I just feel like I don't know I don't know, but you just have to keep going. But I remember my uncle was here because I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And we're at the school and he goes, well, it's really easy, Vanessa. He's like, when you close the school, just help the kids find a new place. And I'm like, right there, my heart stopped. And I'm like, where are they going to go? Where are they going to go? Because my kids,
yeah,
like, they act
yeah.
out. Nobody wants to deal with the behavior. Like, where are they going to go? And that right there was like that motivation of me of like, no, I'm not doing like this. This has to happen.
It
Like I
has to
have to
work.
figure it out.
See,
I don't have
and
a choice.
you
Like you don't
you
have, you
dug
get to the
deep.
point where you're
Yeah. You got to remember why you're doing it, like, and I think that's what
not.
happened. And that was that reminder, like, no, like the whole reason I started this was to take those kids out of those schools. And now I don't want to put them back because the business isn't working. I just have to change my business structure. And,
Right.
and I think we talk about it a lot on the podcast because a lot of the people listening are entrepreneurs or they want to start a side business. They want to build an LLC, right? But we always talk about there needs to be a business structure. And what worked for you is you found where there was kind of like a hole where you where it wasn't working, right? You said the forms were going to an email that you no longer had access to or something like that. And just like
Right.
finding those holes and correcting them and fixing them. Marketing is huge in any business. You realize that now and it's going well for you. And so I think just kind of taking a step back because what was that? Was that like 3 years ago? When did we even meet? Like 3 to 4 years ago?
I want to no, because your kid's 2, so it's right when your kid was born.
Oh yeah, so it was like 2 years ago then. So we met like
Yeah,
2
because I
years
mean, I think
ago.
it was like right.
It was definitely before
2 years
COVID
ago.
was even a
Yeah, that was
thought.
like a hard time for me.
I don't think my kid was born. I don't think my kid was born. It was.
No, he was. Yeah, no, he was.
Oh, maybe. All
I
right.
will go back. I'll find the actual date. No, because I remember you said the sleep was an issue.
Oh, yeah, he must have been like 6 months or something. All right, so we're looking at okay, yeah. So, anyways,
Yeah, I do remember.
yeah, I think you're right, but yeah, just like tying it all in, I think it's super important to take a step back and just kind of see it from a different angle because when I did go to the school, you were in everything. You know what I mean? You were like running around, you were doing everything, you were teaching the class. Yeah, you had teachers and stuff, but you were super involved. And sometimes it's important to take that step back as CEO and kind of manage everything and give your duties out, you know?
Yeah, I'm learning that piece. And so I have a parent, now that's actually my assistant at school. I trust her more than anything. Like she has all my like I'm not organized. Like I'm just
Wait,
like,
is it the person that, did I meet this person?
Yeah, Hill, Jason's mom.
Yep. All right, cool.
The one that was the
seemed,
singer.
Yeah.
You
all
did.
Right, cool.
Yeah, she's like literally like my right-hand person right now. And I trust her with everything. She has like, and she's so organized. She's like ridiculously organized. I'm like, how'd you do that?
Yeah, how'd you do that?
Like, even if I'm writing an email, like, oh, how'd you do that? I don't understand. Because I see big picture. I don't see like, I'm just not like with my car. I was like, I want a BMW. And she literally, because I don't care about like, I care about my kids. Like, that's what I care about. So anything else, unless it's like I don't really give a crap. But I'm like, I want a BMW, figure out what I'm going to get and just do the rest. And she does it. And it's been good. But because I only want my kids, that's what I really care about. Mm-hmm. The other stuff can like fall at the wayside. I don't really care, but I'm trying to be more organized. That's for sure.
Yep. We have a great TikTok. We have a great TikTok comment, so I just want to shout that out. Someone said, making people aware of the different classroom tools available is great, and thank you. See?
Yeah,
No, that
that's sweet.
absolutely though, that like we did talk about that, and I think that's super important in learning, finding creative ways to learn. Um, like it kind of makes me think of like when do you remember those skateboards where you can like skateboard with your fingers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do remember
So
that. I can't do that.
those those were super cool when they came out because they helped a lot of kids kind of focus. Like we'd be at our desk and learning while the teacher's talking, but still like doing something with our hands, right? Like as a kid, you always have to do something with your hands. You have to touch something, right? Which is like the stress balls, they come into play, right? I always had a basketball stress ball in my backpack, a basketball stress ball. I had the skateboard, like things that could kind of like, you know, it lights up like something in your brain, and I
Well, I
think
mean, that's where I say that it alerts the body, right?
it
So
alerts the
that's
body.
what that's it just wakes up the body. So it's a sensory thing. So like a lot of times you'll put Play-Doh. You'll also have different like sensory toys that you could do as fidgets to kind of keep you focused on something else.
I'm gonna name that as the title of this episode: "Alert the Body with Vanessa Kahlon." That doesn't sound weird, right? Alert the body. It's a great title.
Alert the body. Yeah, I know, right?
No, but cool. So we're gonna kind of switch gears a little bit. I like to do a segment called Hella Misguided segment, where I pretty much ask the same question to all entrepreneurs and all business people who come up on here. But a lot of the stuff when starting a business, there's a lot of stuff we wish we knew beforehand, right? And there's a lot of stuff you only learn with experience. No matter how much studying,
Right.
how much research I can do on starting a business, you never really know what's going to happen until you actually put your foot in that door. So the question I want you to answer is, if you were to write a letter to yourself at 20 years old, what would that letter say?
It's really hard to know what you don't know.
It's
like really, like
I
it's
got
true.
you.
Like I would be sitting with some of the best minds in business, and like, what do you ask? Because you don't know
Yeah.
what you don't know. I didn't go to business school, and the marketing is the only thing that was on TikTok. I don't market. I don't advertise. It's all word of mouth. So I think for me, the biggest thing is what I've had to learn is that I had to trust people to come in, and I think I gave them too much. Right. And so I've had to take back and learn everything myself. And I think for me, not being scared, I've always get really nervous about something because I'm like, what if I mess this up? I'm really hard on myself. And so what if I mess something up here, or I'm not going to be able to do the website, or I'm not going to be able to do these things. And then once like you actually get past that and you start learning it, it's a lot easier and it saves you money.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it took me a day to figure out the podcast on Squarespace, but I did a bunch of YouTube videos. My head was going to explode afterwards. And I wanted to throw my computer, but I was really proud of myself. So I even called my web Belinda, and I'm like, you're not going to, and she couldn't believe it. But I'm like, the one thing I couldn't do was the logo, because it had to be downsized into something else. And for the life of me, with the dimensions and the numbers, my dyslexia wasn't going to happen. But she was so proud of me. She sent the logo to her boss that within like 5 minutes, I got it. Cause I was like, it does take a team. And I think being around people that are really supportive is huge. And I don't know if it's like being a female or not, but being around other females that are supportive versus like not like pretending to be supportive, but then put you down.
Yeah.
And I think being able to be around like-minded people is a big
Dudes do that
component,
too.
because you don't. Yeah, I mean, what's interesting is that if I look at the men in my life in business, I've had more support with men. So I'm just talking about, so I don't, I'm sure, I mean, everybody does it. Everyone has that, but I've had more support when it comes to like that, yeah. But I got to tell you that this year I've made some great friends, women that I just are like very supportive of one another. And I think that's really important.
Yeah.
And
you definitely need a team,
I'm realizing through you do.
Go ahead.
You
Go ahead.
need a team that's going to build you up and not, oh yeah, no, I said you need a team that's going to build you up, and like you could talk about ideas and not have people put you down or put down every single idea you do. And you're just like, what just happened?
Absolutely.
So, and just trusting yourself. And I think the more that you
Absolutely.
could trust yourself, the more you're going to actually go. And I think people think, well, I'm going to make money doing your career. Like you have to have income coming in different areas because it takes time for your career to come up, to go up.
Yeah.
So I'm babysitting, even till last year I was babysitting.
You cannot rely on you.
So
Come
I have
babysit
no
over here. we need you.
I'll just come hang out and I'll take you.
Just come take
I
care
will
of
totally, you guys go to dinner and I said, you
Man.
guys go to dinner and then I'll just watch the child. And
Yeah,
you're gonna be like, how are you so calm? I'm all, that's what I do.
That's no, but yeah, I think you mentioned a really important part is team, right? Finding a team and the ability to realize as CEO that you need to kind of learn all the roles that you're dishing out, right? Because if you're just dishing out without really understanding how the business is working and functioning, then there's a lot more room for mistake. There's a lot more room to fail as CEO, right? Because you're not understanding how your business is working, right? You have someone else doing this for you, but if you're not really comprehending the process, then you can't really fix it when there is a problem. And I think that's super important to point for any business. This goes to any business. So thank you for sharing that. So 20-year-old Vanessa, you would tell her to really, give me like the headline, give me the title of the letter.
Do it yourself.
Do it yourself. Oh, okay.
Do it yourself. Shut up and do it yourself.
Shut up and just good job. Yeah, I like that. That's funny. All right.
It can be funny sometimes. Come on
now. Cool. Now I love it.
You know what? I have right. So for just a little background, I have a lot of learning issues myself. So I grew like I was in special ed when I was younger. So that's my own. I get in my own way.
Yeah.
So to me, it was a lot easier to be like, okay, I'm going to pass this to somebody else and do it. So that's where I feel like, okay, wow, I've accomplished a lot. And when I'm proud of where I've been going. Yeah. And so if someone tells me I can't do it, I just kind of walk away now and not listen.
That makes sense. We didn't even really touch up on that, but like, where are you from? Where are you usually from?
I'm from Southern California.
LA, right?
So yeah. No, nice. Orange County.
Orange County. Oh, okay. So yeah, let's kind of go into your background a little bit since you're talking about your background. But what made you come to San Francisco and when did you get here?
So I had to find a school that was accredited that didn't take any tests because I will have a panic attack if you hand me a test. So literally, like you'll see, like I will be crying. So I found a school up here, the Institute of Transpersonal Psychology, which is like Eastern philosophy. But like you walk in and you're literally like on the floor, sitting down, meditating. And I'm just going, okay, this is where I'm at for the next 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a good experience. I mean, had shamans. I mean, it was just one of those schools that like, I'll pull a car.
So you've been here ever since?
Behavioral work because that was like, I've been here ever since. Yeah.
What year was that?
I've been here, I want to say, I moved up here at 28. Moved up here with a guy. He came up. We didn't last like a year here together.
Oh man. He's missing out.
He's married, 3 kids. I think he's down the street.
He could have been with a TikTok star.
Oh my God, you're hilarious.
No, but
no.
That's cool. Let's kind of go into the school structure a little bit. So like, do you have specific hours for the school? How long are the kids in school for?
So I cut it. It's 5 hours right now. I cut it an hour just because the park, with all the rules and regulations, like it's really difficult. But now that most of the team's vaccinated, the families are vaccinated, we'll be going to the park and we're outside. We do have a park out front that we do play games and they run around and do other things, but we're going to go back to 6 hours during the summer, which would be 8:30 to 2:30.
Nice. And it's Monday through Friday, correct? I'm just so everyone listening, if
Monday
they're,
to Friday.
and do
Yeah,
you have like any
Monday through
weekend
Friday.
programs or events maybe or something like that?
No, I like to have a weekend off. I try to.
Yeah. Nah, definitely. I feel it. Well, that's super cool. That's super cool. Um, Cool. Well, we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping up the episode. The way we like to wrap up the episode is there's a section called Guided Conclusions where I ask you a question. Today's question is funny because you're a super fun person. Your personality is super outgoing, and I kind of want to hear. So my question for you is: would you rather write a 10-page paper or give a 10-minute presentation?
Presentation.
Why? You can't go over 10 minutes, Vanessa. It has to be 10. It has to be 9:59. Yeah.
Oh, I can get things done like that. No problem. I can get it done in 5 minutes.
Okay. All right. There you go.
That means I actually have the presentation. Like I said, if I can read the room, and that's where I feel like my best work is in person and training.
In person. Yeah.
And I can help that way. Because writing is like, you can take it so many different ways. It's just like texting and communication. Like you don't know which way it is.
Well, the reason I asked that is because you're super a people person, but you wrote a book and it's good. So like, I just wanted to see like maybe you have time to sit with your thoughts. Once you say something in front of people, it's hard to take that back. You know what I mean? It's hard to read. It's not hard to read the room, but it's hard to like get the words back. But in a book, you could actually sit down, maybe rewrite it, read it a couple times, think about it. No,
I get really frustrated. I already started my second book.
Oh shit.
For teachers, and I'm like, it's in my head, but how fast my head goes to my typing skills is not that great.
Maybe you need to take a typing class.
No, yeah, or like I need to figure out. Like last night, I was like, "Where's that dictation? How do I can I just talk it out and then it goes?"
You could,
and then have someone else edit it. Yeah, I think I'll probably end up doing that.
Yeah.
So
I would definitely. Yeah. I mean, that's what scientists do, right? That's why they always in the movies they always have the recorders when they're doing a science project, an experiment, saying, "Oh, we're on take 3 of it exploding." So yeah, pretty much knows.
Well, I also think writing a book is a skill, and it's not like you can write, but I think there is a skill. Like that's why people are ghostwriters. They have that piece, and that's not writing is not my thing. I can barely get English down.
Yeah. For real. Well, I mean, that's a good, I would definitely do a speech. I love talking. So we have another TikTok comment. Oh, sorry, we're missing some of them, but soon to be a teacher and just stumbled across your page. So much great content. Thank you. You gotta thank that person. Yeah, they can't hear me because I'm not on it. So.
No, I did. I actually looked over and I said, thank you.
Oh, okay, for sure. Cool. Well, man, this is super fun. I appreciate you coming up. Do you want to shout out all your Instagrams?
Do me a favor. Can you do me a favor? Put in the comments, your TikTok account on there, because then you can get some followers on there. Just put on there, and then I'm gonna I'll keep this open for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I'm doing it right
now. Okay.
Cool. Well, go ahead. Shout out all your Instagram or all your Instagrams, all your social media, so people can follow you.
Oh, me? Oh, yeah. Parenting with Vanessa Kahlon, which is last name is Kahlon. There's Yaz Yoga, YEAS Yoga, along with KFS School. I have so many accounts. You can find me on LinkedIn.
I think it's freezing. It's freezing. Vanessa, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I think we lost. You're gonna have to repeat some of your KF.
Okay, yeah, no, website. So it's It's Parenting with Vanessa Kahlon. Last name is Kahlon on Apple Podcast. And we also have Parenting with Vanessa Kahlon Instagram, Facebook, and we have Yas Yoga, YEAS Yoga, along with KFS School. I can't even remember my stuff. KFS
I know you got
School.
so much.
The book Shut Up and Parent. Yeah, there you go. Or you can just go to vanessakahlon.com. You'll find everything there.
But you should have said that at the beginning. Yeah, that gets more traffic to your website anyways.
All right, just put in my website. We're good.
All right, we got to work with you on marketing, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm not that great. That's why I wrote the book.
It's all good. Well, we appreciate you.
All right.
And I'm sure the audience will love this episode. But you heard it here. This is the Misguided Podcast. We're intending to guide you to a better future. My name is Juwan. I'm sitting here with Vanessa of KFS School. Make sure you check her out and like her TikTok.
Thank you.